Welcome to Module 7, Administration. We are covering the admin side of NPC in these last two videos, user setup and configuration. If you are an admin, this is squarely in your territory. If you are a user rather than an admin, this video gives you helpful context on how access works. Let's go. We will cover the Salesforce security model overview, profiles versus permission sets in the NPC context, NPC-Specific Permission Sets, typical user roles at a nonprofit, and then set up a user as a development director together in the org. Salesforce access control works in three layers. Profiles are the first layer. Every user has exactly one profile, and the profile controls what objects they can see, what they can do with them, read, create, edit, delete. Profiles are like job categories: standard user, read-only user, system administrator. As you look at this slide, think of every row as a different question in the process. Profile is the baseline object or app access. That is when you look at when you need every user gets exactly one. Permission set is the additional modular access. That is what you look at when you need role-specific capability grants. With role/sharing, you record visibility model. That is what you look at when you need who can see which records. User record is the identity and login details. That is what you look at when you need authentication and lifecycle control. If you remember one thing from this slide, remember that each object has a distinct job. Once that clicks, the rest of the module gets much easier. This comparison is really about choosing the cleaner operating model. On the left side, risky access pattern usually looks like over-permission profile, no modular access design, and inconsistent user setup process. On the right, reliable access pattern looks like minimal baseline profile, permission sets by function, and repeatable onboarding checklist. If I were guiding a team, I would deliberately steer toward the right-hand pattern here because it creates a more stable process and cleaner records over time. If you want this process to stay clean, this is the order I would stick to. First, define role responsibilities. Next, assign baseline profile, then attach NPC permission set by module. After that, validate access with user acceptance check. What matter here is not just the checklist, it is a discipline of doing the steps in an order the whole team can repeat without reinventing the process each time. Let's see this in action. So when you go to setup and you search a permission set, take for example, I want to give fundraising access to a person. So we have a permission set by name fundraising access. Now this particular permission set will give access to the objects and component used for fundraising. So let's look at the object access. For example, for fundraising, we need access to account. We need access to transactions, gift commitment. So if you see over here, all those access is granted via this particular permission set. So any user who you want to have fundraising capability, you will add that particular user to this particular permission set. Now let's go back to presentation. Now let's do a quick recap. The Salesforce security model uses profile and permission set working together. One profile per user controls base access. Multiple permission sets can be added for specific feature. NPC has permission set for fundraising, programs, outcome, and admin. Match permission sets to the job function, and when creating user, have their role and permission needs planned before you start.